welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names this evening. It's going to be a busy night, and then tomorrow will be even busier. It's an important video because a lot of people don't know how to make their own instant grits. Yes, you can make your own homemade instant grits. You don't have to buy them in those little packages. Now, what you will need, and this is going to be a several step video, and I'm going to show you each step of what you need to do. Now, this time I'm using quick grits. You can use quick grits or old-fashioned grits. Either way, you're just going to have to cook them. And all I use is the amount of water and the salt. Don't add any butter to the water. I know it's going to be hard for us southern people not to add some seasoning. Leave them plain, because what I'm going to be showing you is different variations of making your own instant grits mixes. Now, me being me, if you've followed me for any time, I don't do small batches. This is going to be a large batch. Now, follow the directions on your bag of grits for the amount that you feel comfortable working with. Now me, I'm going to be doing the largest batch I can because I want to get as much as I can get made up. That way I can have enough of the instant plain grits to show you how to make the other mixes up. Now what I have in my pot getting heated up is salt, and I'm going to be making 3 batches at once. As long as you know what you're doing, you can make big batches of grits. You just got to be careful doing it, because we don't want no lumpy grits. No lumpy grits. What I'm going to be doing is 3 batches, so each batch is 8 cups of water per directions of this bag. Like I said, follow your bag directions. And I'm kind of iffy on this one. 8 cups of water and only 2 cups of grits. We'll find out, because I always have more to add to it. Now, you can use white grits, white hominy grits like I'm using. You can use yellow hominy grits, whichever grits you prefer. Just make sure they're plain grits. Now I have 2 bags of yellow grits, which I'm going to cook up at a later date. Tonight I'm doing the white grits. And what I'm going to want to do, now remember, I'm doing a triple batch. So I'm going to need 6 cups of grits. There's 2. There's 4. And there's my 6 cups of grits with a little bit left over, because I'm still, this isn't the brand that I usually use, but I figured, what the heck, it was only $1.48 a bag, give it a try. So we're going to try them, because I'm going to flavor them anyway. They're going to taste good regardless. Now, unfortunately, there's not any information out there on how to make your own instant grits, which is really sad, because what it is, it's a certain company not wanting people to know how to make them. Well, I'm going to show you how to make them, and they're going to be really good. And we're going to end up making 4 or 5. Might end up being 6 different flavor variations for your instant grits. Now these will end up being now that was going to taste a whole lot better, but they're going to end up being just like the grits in the packages, where all you have to do is add boiling water and wait, stir them up real good and wait about a minute, and you got your grits. You don't have to try, because with what's coming down the pike, you don't want to be trying to cook old-fashioned grits over a campfire, because it's going to take you a while. Now, I understand there's a lot of people who don't like instant grits. Well, you can flavor them to where you will like them, because they're going to be tasting just exactly the way you want them to. I'm going to wait for my water to come up to temp, and then I'll bring you back as soon as it's time to start cooking the grits. I'll see you here in a little bit. Okay, the water has come up to a good rolling boil. You're going to want to cut it down. Just believe me, if you've never cooked grits before, you do not want to get splattered with hot grits. They stick to you. And the secret to making grits that are not lumpy is a whisk and adding them very slowly. In my honest southern opinion, nothing worse than getting a big old bowl of grits somewhere and there is lumps all in them. Now, the only thing that's in this pot is water and pink Himalayan salt. And you want to keep stirring until they thicken up. You just want to make sure that there's no lumps in those grits. Of course, when you go to grind them up after dehydrating them, you don't have to worry about it, but you want to make sure that all of your corn grits get cooked. And if you've never had grits, oh, they're good. And I know there's a lot of grit haters out there. You just ain't had grits cooked right. And I'll tell you right now, I don't want no milk in my grits. We were traveling when I was younger, and where was it? Was it Kansas City? I think it was Kansas City, Kansas. We'd stopped at a truck stop, and we got in grits with our breakfast, and we knew something was weird tasting about the grits. Yeah, found out they had milk in them, and that was a horrible experience. Horrible experience. Now, they're going to start thickening up, which is perfectly fine. That's what you want to see. And so far, I'm fairly impressed with these little grits. They're doing pretty good. And I'm getting quite a bit for a small amount of money. So, that's always a good thing in my book. But I'm going to tell you right now, just them being plain, the salt and water, no. They're not going to taste real good at all. I like my grits seasoned. I like butter in them. I also like chopped eggs. hot sauce. Oh, yes. Either Tabasco or Louisiana hot sauce. That's my two favorite hot sauces. You have to be careful. You don't want them to scorch on the bottom. Make sure you stir that bottom. And they're starting to sputter, so you're going to move them off your flame. Now, of course, they'll continue to thicken up. Now, if you've never cooked grits before, they are liquid lava. It is liquid lava, so I'm going to let them cool down for a little bit, and I'm going to get my dehydrators ready to roll. See you here in a little bit. Okay, I have let the grits cool down for about 45 minutes. They're starting to get thick. I don't want them to set up. Now, I will be using, for some of my trays, it's just wet from being washed. These are silicone mats that you just put on top of your trays. And then, let's see, I only have and you're just going to spoon it onto your mats. I'm trying not to be in y'all's way so you can see. And you got to be careful because they'll get really thick on you and you won't be able to spread them out. But you want to make sure that you don't have them too high on your mat, because then your next tray will stick to them. But you don't want them too low. You want to make sure that you get a good amount on your trays, because that way you'll make sure that you have enough product at the end. And be very careful when dealing with hot grits. Like I said, liquid lava, but these have cooled down quite a bit. They just like to steam. And plus it's a cooler night, so it's just going to look like it's liquid lava. But this time they've cooled down, and I've whisked them quite a bit to try to get as much of that heat out as possible. But if you wait too long to dehydrate, put them on your trays, then you will be barely dealing with a polenta consistency, and then it's a real pain. Now, if you like cream of wheat, you can also do cream of wheat this way as well. There's my first tray done. And I will bring you back as soon as I get all the trays done. See you here in a bit. I have other plans. I have some plans for some of these grits when they dry. One of the mixes is going to have dehydrated jalapenos in it. And since this is going to be the top tray, heat rises in a dehydrator, so the heat will escape through the top. So the oils of the jalapeno, not that it's going to really matter for us because we like spicy, but the heat will escape up through the grits and through the jalapenos. And the oil should go through the top. And these are some big jalapenos. Lots of seeds. And since these are organic jalapenos, you know what I'm fixing to do with these seeds. I'm going to save every one of them and see how many big old jalapeno plants I can come up with this next growing season. Waste not, want not. Get back over there. Oops. And of course these will reconstitute when you go to cook, when you go to add your boiling water to the grits. Just got to make sure that everything you use is very dry. Either dehydrated or freeze dried. There's some tough little jalapenos. And I know for a fact this is a good sharp knife. I keep it that way. Alright, I'm going to get these other 3 jalapenos cut up and on the tray and get them dehydrating. Now, I'm not going to leave, I'm only going to make sure that each of my dehydrators has only 4 trays on it, because this is a heavy load to dehydrate. And like I said, it should take about 12 hours for this to dehydrate. We'll see, and I'll let you know exactly how long it takes. But you've got to make sure that these grits are bone dry before you can process them any further. And I will bring you back tomorrow when everything's done and ready to roll. I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back. It's a hair over 18 hours, but you know what? Those grits are dry. Now, I forgot to mention a lesson learned when I made my first batch of instant grits a long time ago. Do not whatsoever use wax paper or parchment paper, because they will stick. Anybody that's cooked grits knows it's its own glue. The silicone mats are the best way to go when making your own instant grits. And if you take a look on my Amazon list, I have them listed. If you scroll down a little ways, they are listed, so you know exactly the ones I'm using. And I know for a fact I'm going to have to get me another set, so I have more to use. Alright, Ladybug. Sorry about that. Had a surprise guest, apparently. Okay, now, I will tell you, as the grits are drying, I let them dry real good on the silicone mats, and once they start getting real good and dry, I'll take them off the mats and lay them on the trays, because the bottom of the grits will be wet. let them dry for a while, and you're going to end up having, it's like, how do you put it, phyllo dough. It's going to be layers, and you're going to want to split your sheets of grits. That way the centers will dry. Because if you don't do it that way, it's going to take forever. Even longer than 18 hours for them to dry. Alright, I'm adjusting the camera. And let me show you the next steps. Make sure you have, now of course, a glass blender or one of those really expensive high-speed blenders that do a really good job will work best. I've already ground some of the batch up, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, and I'm only going to put you through one time of grinding it because believe me, it is loud. And you're going to want to break them up. And you try not to lose any small pieces. You want to get them ground up as best you can. If you don't get them ground up, you're going to have you'll end up with lumpy grits. And sorry about the noise. I'm only going to put you through it once. That way you'll get an idea of what you need to do. Uh-oh. Oh, I know what I've done. And some of them, it's going to take a while to grind them down. And you're going to want a little bowl and a good little colander, because you're going to need to try your best to get just the fine ground grits out. And what in the big pieces, you'll just put back in the blender and keep grinding. Oops. It didn't take the lid off the jar. And yes, it's a labor of love, but it is so worth it. And this is another reason why you clean and sanitize your hands and your workspace. That way any that escape, you can wipe them right up. I'm going to finish grinding these grits, and I will bring you back, because like I said, I'm not going to make y'all sit through that horrible noise. I'll see you after a while. Well, finally got the grits ground up. That was fun, but I ended up with 4 cups of instant grits. I know a lot of people say that that's not a whole lot for what all I cooked, and I agree, it's not a whole lot, but you know what? All I'm going to need is boiling water. Now, I'm going to do 4 different recipe mixes, from regular cheesy grits all the way up to one that's a little over the edge, and it's going to be I'm using Cajun shrimp and rice seasoning, but it's going to end up being Cajun chicken. So, let's get busy. I'm going to move this camera. I've done, oh my gracious, I've done the mathing. Okay, now on instant grits, 1 serving per person is 1/4 of a cup. That's not a whole lot of grits for people who are really needing protein. And grits is a very good source of food that will fill you up. Now what I'm going to do is a double serving. And of course what I'm doing is I'm making to feed 2 people. And each person's going to get a double serving of grits. So that means 1/2 cup of instant grits per person. So I need to measure out a cup of instant grits. There we go. And, okay. And like, you always want to go in and write what's in the bag on the outside. These are going to be, now I have, freeze-dried bacon bits, real bacon bits. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and make this, you could use imitation, but you're going to need as much protein as you get. So these are going to be cheesy bacon instant grits. Now to 1 cup of instant grits, all you will need is 2 cups of boiling water. Stir it real good when you mix it up and let it sit for about a minute. Okay, there's my 1 cup of instant grits. And I'm going to want to add, because grits need salt, I'm going to add a teaspoon of pink salt. And I like pepper in my grits. So we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. There's a good chance you're not going to be able to have any seasonings with you. So it's best to go ahead and season everything up. Now grits are not grits unless there's butter. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. And this is freeze-dried butter powder. And since I want them to be cheesy, but not like cheese sauce, I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of freeze-dried cheese powder. And that should be plenty enough. Now I said bacon, and this is freeze-dried bacon bits, real bacon. Uh-oh. Nope, you're not going nowhere. And I'm putting in a 1/2 cup of those. And when I go to use these, all I have to have, because the seasoning's in there already, everything is in there that you need. All I'm going to need is 2 cups of boiling water. And always make sure you put that on your bag. automatically vacuum seals it, and then it's going to seal it shut. And you're going to wait for the lights to go off. Watch how you open it. And there you have one batch of cheesy bacon grits. We're going to set those right here for now. And then we're going to work on batch number 2. And of course, I will have all the recipes in the description box below. This is the cheesy bacon jalapeno grits. Now, of course, if you don't like heat, you don't have to make this recipe. It's up to everybody's preference of what they put in their grits. If you don't like cheese, you don't have to make them cheesy. You can leave the cheese out and just add the bacon and the jalapenos and the butter. Okay, that's 1 cup of homemade instant grits. I want a teaspoon of pink salt. And I want half a teaspoon of black pepper. With seasonings are optional. You can also add whatever else that you enjoy as seasonings. Oh, let's do our butter. You don't want no unbuttered grits. Whew, Lord, no. I think I'm going to drop this one down to a half a tablespoon, which will make it 1 tablespoon of butter, of freeze-dried butter powder. And then, of course, we'll get our cheese, our freeze-dried cheese powder. And I want a half a cup of it. I tell you, this smells so good. I will say it does take a good while for the grits to dehydrate, but the wait is so worth it. I'm going to add a half a cup of the bacon because I want to make sure that there's protein in the grit mixes, because you're going to need all you can get. And I'm going to do a tablespoon of dehydrated jalapenos. And I tell you, that's going to be good. Ooh, them babies are spicy too. And for this one, all you're going to need is 2 cups of boiling water. And you're going to have some amazing instant grits. Not like those nasty instant grits in the packages. So much better. Or if you want to call it adult instant grits. Not only will these fill you up, but they'll taste so much better. And put your top down. for your blue light to come on. Push the vacuum button. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You just got to have the ingredients and believe in yourself. Now, oops, you can mix and match the ingredients and make your grits the way you want them to be. Sealed like a rock. You can mix and match your ingredients. If you don't like one of the ingredients I'm using, you can use something else. And once again, we want another cup. Now this is where we start getting a little interesting with our mixtures. But why should you have boring plain grits? When it's a SHTF moment, you need as much happiness as you can get. Let's see. I want a teaspoon of my salt. Now you can lessen the amount of salt, leave the amount of salt out. It's all whatever is your preference. And I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And if you wanted to, you can make your own instant grits. Follow the same directions on cooking them, dehydrating them, powdering them up, and either just use freeze-dried butter powder or just bag them up plain if you wanted to. That's not going to hurt a thing at all. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of the butter powder. And yes, this is real butter, not any imitation butter. Now here's where we get interesting, where you can experiment. One package. Now, of course, it's sausage flavor, but peppered gravy mix. Yes, because all it takes is hot water to cook this. It takes a minute for this to heat up. It takes only a minute for your grits. And I'm going to tell you, this stuff is good. And then you'll have your own sausage gravy grits. Oh my gracious, it smells good. You want to make sure that you keep the powder down into the bag. And sausage gravy grits, right there, 2 cups of water, which I know I'm going to need boiling water. And I put December of 21. That's when I made it. Then we're going to open up. Now, another thing. I cannot stand milk in my grits. Now, if you are one who likes milk in their grits, you can add the powdered whole milk, and or if you can get a hold of the freeze-dried cream, you can add that as well. I just don't want no milk in my grits at all. I said you can do so many different variations. The sky's the limit, and it's what you and your family enjoy. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You just have to know what flavors you like. Like I said, you can mix and match. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. And there's another one. Third really hearty breakfast for when the shit hits the fan, or a dinner. Some people call them suppers, but yeah, there's a third one. Now, this next one, we're going to get adventurous, because I was standing in the store, because I knew I was going to be working on this video. Let me go and pour my grits up. I was standing in the store, feeling adventurous, wondering what all other flavor mixes I could add up. Now, I've used this part before, but not in grits. But I knew that it would be really good in grits. Alright, I'm going to go and open this one. This is what I'm using. Because now, if you wanted to, if you could get a hold of deveined and peeled, freeze-dried or dehydrated shrimp, you could use that as well. Now, you wanted to do like a plain white gravy mix, and you could add this in there, and that way you could make your own shrimp and grits, instant shrimp and grits. I know some people will be going, ew. Oh my gracious, that smells good. That smells so good. Brought out some garlic. I don't think it's going to need any. Got plenty of pepper. I'm not going to add any salt to this one, because I know between that seasoning and I'm going to add just a little bit more of chicken bouillon in here. And let me tell you, this chicken bouillon is amazing. I'm going to only add a teaspoon, because I don't want it to end up being too salty. Now, here's where I'm going to take it up a few more notches. I'm going to add about a quarter cup of dehydrated bell peppers. Oh, they smell so good. And I'm going to, so I forgot to grab my dehydrated onions, but these will work just as well. And I'm going to use a half a cup of these, and this is dehydrated leeks. Add that into the mix. And of course, got to have some butter in there. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. Now, like I said, you're only going to need 2 cups of boiling water for each one of these batches I'm making. And the recipes will be in the description box below. Now, I don't think that it needs any pepper, no salt. It has a chicken broth base, which has real chicken in it. The shrimp and grits, not shrimp and grits, I got shrimp and grits on mine. This one has freeze-dried chicken fat and chicken meat and chicken stock in it, so it's got plenty of protein in here. You just want to make sure that you mix it up real good. And there you have it, Cajun chicken grits. Okay, we're going to open up our food saver. Put that in there, get it aligned. And push vacuum. And because of the dehydrated vegetables, you'll hear snapping and popping. That's because it's vacuum sealing it. And let me tell you, this mix is a good mix. I've mixed it before. It's really good. And like I said, you can use yellow grits if you don't like the white grits. Simple, easy. Anyone can make this. There's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, that was the third one. Good grief, it's late and I haven't had enough coffee. 3, 4. There we go. Good grief. 4 very wonderful homemade instant grits meals. Can be had for breakfast or dinner. Alright, give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, simple, easy. Anybody can make these recipes. You can also mix and match. Now, if you can't get the seasoning packets at your local store, find ones that you like. Just make sure that they will mix fine and that they don't need more than 2 cups of boiling water. I hope this encourages you because this is simple to do. And like I said, if you want to, you can just cook your grits, dehydrate them, grind them up, and package them plain. You'll still have instant grits. Now, I would say put some salt and pepper in with them, but it's up to you to choose which ones you want in your grits. Easy, and believe me, these are nutritious, and you will get the nutrition that you need and to keep going, because it's going to get bad, and we're going to need to put back as much as we can. And it's simple, easy to boil water. Anybody can boil water. It's getting a hold of the food. And with doing it this way, you already have it and you're ready to go. And grits will fill you up for a long time, and that's what makes them really good. And that's why a lot of times we have the grits at dinner time, because they will fill you up way past into the morning. Or if you know you're going to have a really busy day, grits in the morning is perfect. I hope this encourages you also to make your own instant grits. Yes, I know it's a long, tedious process, but it's worth it every bit of the way. Because imagine buying all those little packs of already made instant grits and trying to make this up. You'll break the bank, because 1 bag of this will take 4 packets of those little instant grits. And to me, it's a whole lot easier to do it the long way, and that way I also know exactly what's in my grips. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments section below. Please don't post and then delete them, because I love to read them, and I'll answer them. Don't worry about your questions. I will answer your questions, and as soon as I can, I will answer them. Everyone take care. Have a blessed day. Have a wonderful weekend. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. May you have a new year filled with many blessings of prosperity, good health, and lots of laughter. Because right now we need as much laughter as we can get. Everyone take care, and may you each be blessed. I'll see you soon.